Desire to me is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. So when I'm unhappy about something, I look for what is the underlying desire that I have that's not being fulfilled. It's okay to have desires. You're a biological creature. You're put on this earth. You have to do something. You have to have desires. You have a mission. But don't have too many. Don't pick them up unconsciously. Don't pick them up randomly. Don't have thousands of them. Pick your one overwhelming desire, and it's okay to suffer over that one. But on all the others, you want to let them go so you can be calm and peaceful and relaxed.
Everything can become possible if you find the way to translate what is in the mind into action, because this transformation makes things come to us. Everything we have available nowadays on this earth started somewhere here by someone.
Your laziness, your lack of discipline, it doesn't just affect you. You see, whether you realize it or not, there are people that depend on you. And more importantly, there are people that will depend on who you could become. Who you decide to be matters. When you haven't developed the mental fortitude and the mental strength to deal with difficult situations, and a truly difficult situation arrives, and you're too wrapped up in your own problems to help anyone else, that affects them. If you are not going to do it for yourself, do it for the people that depend on you to be the best you.
All winners have lost. All winners have gotten depressed. All winners have been heartbroken. All winners have been disappointed and confused, frustrated, angry. But they kept moving forward. That's the only reason they're winners. Nobody has is winning all the time. Nobody does.
Everything's gonna be okay. Everything you're worried about is gonna be okay. That too, whatever it is, that also is gonna be fine.
But to give up and think that that you are a lost case, there are no lost cases. Unless you give yourself up, then it is lost.
You get to decide if I'm gonna be rich, poor, mediocre, plentiful, happy, sad. You have a decision to make.
Well, it happens small until it happens big. The reinvention occurs in the micro actions that you're taking every single day. The tiny little things that perhaps no one even notices that are creating muscle memory around new behaviors. Tiny little things repeated over time is what produces dramatic change. And it's like this curve, it's like this very slow curve, and everyone wants to talk about the pivot moment when it goes skyward, but the truth is, the real work is in the drudgery and the difficult, anonymous work of shoveling shit every single day. Don't leave before the miracle. And I take that as a lesson in persistence. Whatever it is that you're pursuing to achieve or create or express in the world, I think a lot of people back out before that happen.
If I told you that you're only 6 months away, 6 months away from the life you've always dreamt of, the health you've always dreamt of, the income, the lifestyle, or the body of work you've always dreamt of? What if I told you that your success was guaranteed and that the person you've always dreamt of becoming was only 6 months away? There's just one condition though. For that time, you have to show up each and every day and do all the things you and I both know you should be doing. How would you show up each day? If success were guaranteed and it was only 6 months away, what would you do differently? We all have a good idea of what we need to do, yet so few of us take action. You know what your perfect 6 months would look like. You already know who you want to be. Go be that person. Stop waiting for someone or something to come along and give you the permission to start living your own life.
Life goes on. Whatever happened in your past that continues to weigh on your mind, it doesn't matter. And you may say, well, certainly it matters. It drastically changed my life. It has thrown me off course and now I am dazed and confused. How could you say it doesn't matter? And to that I say, you are still in pursuit of legacy. You are still on the journey to achieve everything that you dream of. And today is just as good as any other to take a step in the right direction. In other words, circumstances do not affect your ability to choose what you do next. It is up to you to continue forward or remain stagnant, and that will never change.
You cannot control all of the external circumstances in your life, but you can control how you feel about those circumstances in your life. And once you recognize that taking control of your emotions and not allowing your emotions to control you, taking the wheel, allows you to be the master of your fate.
Take responsibility for your actions. Apologize when you're wrong, and acknowledge how you treat others when you're anxious, angry, or upset. Regardless of what happens in life, you still have control over how you respond. Everything you say and do is a choice. Blaming others is easy. Show a little patience, because the only thing you have control over is yourself.
Turn your feelings off when it comes down to you wanting to be better. What that means is when that alarm clock goes off, your feelings gotta go away if you want to achieve greatness. Your feelings have to go away.
People change when they hurt enough they have to, when they see enough they're inspired to, when they learn enough that they want to, and when they receive enough that they're able to. Those are the 4 times that people change.
It's like when it says good is the enemy of great, the comfort zone is the enemy of courage, right? The comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there.
Tell yourself the truth. Just be honest with yourself. All of us tell ourselves stories to avoid the things we don't want to do and to justify the things that we want to do. And you can get pretty good at believing your own story. You know when you have time and you're pretending you don't. You know when you can do something you don't want to do, but you pretend you can't. Deep down, every single one of us knows when it's real and when it's bullshit. And you might be really good at convincing other people, but you cannot truly convince yourself. Because although you may be able to justify it for a moment, you might be able to convince yourself for a moment, there still always exists that deep-rooted sense of shame of desiring to be a certain version of yourself and knowing damn well that you are choosing not to be that.
Why would you limit yourself from experiencing that? Why? Because you're scared, you're afraid, you don't know how it's going to work out, it doesn't feel good. Perfectly fine. But I've come to understand, I've come to realize that the beauty of life isn't in pursuing happiness, it's in pursuing experiences, and it's understanding that it's multidisciplinary, it's multilateral, it's not just one emotion. So I'm not in the business of pursuing happiness, I'm in the business of pursuing life. And life comes in different forms at different seasons.
Universes change, and life itself is but what we deem it. What he means is that things are going to happen, you are going to have experiences in life. Almost all of the important impacts of how those experiences change you are going to be the story that you tell yourself about what that experience means. You know, the framing that you place around the present moment largely determines your experience of it. And this is where having confidence in yourself, an undeniable stack of proof that you can deal with whatever is put in front of you, is super important.
I always say no one's coming to save you. What I mean is they're not coming to save you from yourself. If you don't learn how to push yourself out of bed and out the door, if you don't learn how to hold yourself to a standard that's higher than your excuses, you will always procrastinate, you will always feel anxious, and you will always succumb to some sort of thing that's easier in the moment instead of pushing yourself to do the thing that's hard that helps you become the best version of you. I'm telling you, this is the secret to everything. Learn how to do things that are hard. Learn how to do things that you hate. Because when you learn how to hold yourself to a higher standard, you, my friend, are unstoppable because you will not stop yourself.
You deserve exactly what you're choosing to settle for. You are in control of what you accept. You are in control of what you allow in your life. Nobody, nothing, no situation can control your life without your permission.
right? When we say a goal, a dream, or aspiration, we put it out there as if it's always going to be smooth sailing, right? As if no opposition is going to be present, as if no challenge is going to be present. That's why you create habits. That's why you create routines. You don't just do it for the great times. You do it when all hell is breaking loose.
The difference between successful people and non-successful people is here. You have to change this. So if you're at a place in your life and you ain't happy with it, you have to change some things. But you have to make a conscientious decision that you're going to change. And it's not dependent on anybody else. It don't matter what your mama think. It don't matter what your coworkers think. It don't matter what your siblings think. It don't matter. They have nothing to do with it. This decision is yours and yours alone.
The heart of confidence is action. It's the willingness to try. And all you need is to know that if you try, you're not gonna die. You're just gonna learn something. And when you learn something, it removes a little bit of the insecurity so that it makes it slightly easier to try again.
Say you can't fix the problem if you don't know where it's coming from. And so you think and think and think about all your problems. And the more and more you think about them, the bigger they become. You go down this rabbit hole of why things are the way they are. Why am I sad? And usually the rabbit hole ends with, it's not my fault. It's because of my parents, my teacher, my friends, my boss. Now what? What good does knowing whose fault it is do for you? Nothing. Right now, you don't know if what you're telling yourself is the actual cold-hearted truth or just an excuse. So if you want to fix your problems, move first, think and analyze after.
What can one man do except for give his best? If you fail, you try again. If you win, you try again and get better. So as long as you maintain and you stay consistent, you'll forever be a winner and a champion, and the people who love you in their rights because they support you nevertheless, as long as you're trying again and again and again.
To find your identity, to discover who you are, you must be with yourself. Isolate your mind, observe your thoughts, ask yourself questions, explore your imagination. And with time, not only will you find yourself, but you will find what brings you life. You will find purpose, something to chase. And now you have yourself, as well as a grand adventure.
The thing that's so interesting about being alive is that you're all in. No matter what you do, you're all in. This is gonna kill you. So I think you might as well play the most magnificent game you can while you're waiting. Because do you have anything better to do? Why not pick the best thing possible that you could do? Because you're more powerful than you think. Way more powerful than you think. I mean, God only knows what you are in the final analysis. You're blind to your own weaknesses, but you're also blind to your own strengths. How far could you take that if you stopped wasting time, and if you stopped lying, and if you oriented yourself to the highest possible good that you could conceive of and you committed to that? How much good could you do? Well, I would say, why don't you find out?
Those who are willing to risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. You have to take the risk. You can no longer play it safe. Now it's time to get risky. Now it's time to truly find out what you're made of and what you could achieve. Now it's time to truly find out how many lives you can impact. Now it's time to find out what you are destined to become.
You can't have an easy life and a great character. Show me a trust fund kid that inherited a bunch of money, and I'll show you someone mentally tortured. It's not the pursuit of happiness, it's the happiness of the pursuit. The journey or the destination. It's who you become on the journey.
If you're not getting past this, today, this week, this month, this year, all of a sudden a decade goes by and you're still hung up and you can't get rid of that thing. If it's holding you back from going where you want to go, maybe you should just deny the thing ever happened. Kick it in the head. Kick it off the curb. I'm done with you. I'm sick of you. I'm tired of hanging out with you. I'm tired of that thing, whatever it is, holding me back from going where I want to go.
Never say you can't do it. Say, I haven't done it yet. I haven't done it yet. And that's true with everything. It's like, there's nothing that you can't do. You may not have done it yet. We don't know if you can do it or not until you really practice, and then you find out if you can do it or not, or how well you can do it.
You have to kill your current self for your new self to have room to grow. And so it's this constant appraisal of your skills and activities. Which of these makes me stronger? Which of these makes it more likely for me to hit my goal? And I just want to give you that frame, because that single frame of, is this person being in my life make it more likely or less likely that I hit my goal? Is this activity or this behavior that I do make it more or less likely that I hit my goal? And I consistently just ask that question over and over and over again. Imagine a competitor that you'd never want to go against. Focused, persistent, always learning, always improving, relentless, says no to everything but that which makes them stronger. You know what he looks like, you know how he acts, you know who he associates with. That's future you. Now become him.
A dream is so big, when you have something, it's hard to give up. You get to the point that you're capable of risking more for just a dream, which is something that a normal person will not understand.
You know, right now the goal is just to focus on myself, you know, everything growth. I'm not worried about the mistakes that I made in the past or anything, you know. I'm in competition with myself. So I'm just getting better and better and better. That's it.
You want to know when your life will really change, though? The truth is, your life will change when you realize that some people are gone and they ain't coming back. Stop trying to breathe life into something that died years ago. Some people are in your life forever, but most people are only passing through. That chapter is in the past. So instead of reading the same chapter over and over again, it's time to make space for people who actually deserve your time and attention and who are presently here with you right now.
Remember this when life gets tough. Life is a lot like driving. Sometimes you get lost, and sometimes you have to take streets you don't like. Maybe they're full of traffic, or maybe they're too bumpy, but they lead you where you need to go. Each rough patch has a purpose that will teach you a lesson and make you stronger. You might not get why you're on a hard road, but trust the process. Every path, no matter how hard, is needed for your growth. The bumps in the road are steps to where you need to be. Keep going, even when the way is unclear or crowded. You have a place you're meant to reach. The funny thing about life is that we can have so much and still feel something's missing. There's always that empty spot making us wonder why. We make excuses, looking for reasons for this feeling, wondering if there's a fix. It's because we can't let go, holding on to a dream of a perfect life. We forget that good things take time.
Pleasure passes quickly, but the shame remains. That's the harsh Stoic truth. But the positive side of that is the reverse. When you work hard for something, when you put in hard labor on something, that passes quickly. But the pride, the virtue, the good that comes out of it, it remains.
And it's about accepting the seasons. Weather can never be the same. It can never rain all day, every day. So maybe you're in a season, but the weather always has to change. What can you be learning? What can you be doing in this season? Because it's definitely not going to change if you're not figuring out what lesson you need to have in this season. If it never rained, the plant's not growing.
Have you ever realized that both fear and faith require you to believe in something that you cannot see? Think about that for a second. Both include uncertainty, both require discomfort. One keeps you small by anticipating danger or pain. The other wants you to grow by anticipating joy or love. So if you're stuck between the two, doubt or hope, fear or faith, maybe the simpler question is, which of the two do you value more? Once you have your answer, start acting from there.
And most people, when they fail, they don't like to look at themselves in the mirror and say, you know what? Maybe I have to change. People want change to happen to them. They don't want to change. And when you realize that change isn't going to happen to you, you need to actually proactively determine your future. Then and only then can you actually take not only full accountability for your good actions, your bad actions, but for your full life.
If you feel like you lost your way, I would say congratulations.
If you're lost, that only means one thing. You're about to be found. And sometimes you need to lose your way in order to find a better way. Sometimes you need to lose certain things to gain better things. Sometimes certain doors have to close that you want to keep open so a better door can come into your life.
What's impossible in your life, go after that. Have that. Goals are important. Passion is important. Waking up in the morning and having excitement about the day is important. You're here not by choice. You're led to this. And I believe we all have a destiny. We're all supposed to do something in our lives.
My favorite quote of all time by T.S. Eliot: those willing to risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. Notice that it says those willing to risk. You have to risk failing. You have to risk getting mocked. You have to risk your safety and security if you want to find out how far you can go. If you want to find out how many lives you can touch. If you want to find out what it tastes like at the top, you have to be willing to risk going too far.
And that's what's painful, is that it takes more effort to start in the beginning, and more people are right about the fact, they're like, hey, you're not going to hit it big. And guess what? A month in, you're not. But they're only measuring on months. And at 6 months, you're also not going to hit it big yet. And they're going to be like, I'm still fucking right. And at a year, you're still not going to hit it big. And they'll still be fucking right. And every day that you haven't hit it, they're going to feel like they were right. But they're wrong, because they're measuring in days and you're measuring in decades.
To get anywhere in life, you have to work extremely hard and you have to be disciplined. If you wanted to be a great piano player, there's no drug you can take, there's no self-help book, there's no guru. You got to spend 5 years, 10 years learning it until it becomes something that's second nature. There are no shortcuts. You see after a few years that an incredible pleasure happens where now you have mastery of this piano and you can play things you could never play before. Suddenly the whole thing opens up, this whole new universe. And that's the paradigm for everything meaningful in life. If you learn something well, if you learn a craft and you master it, it can bring you a far greater pleasure than any kind of drug or any kind of going out to a party or socializing. But you have to be patient and you have to not be afraid of boredom. You have to not be afraid of the effort.
You know, there's something powerful that once you just sort of embrace the fact that in order to achieve something big, you've got to get rid of these distractions, you're probably going to have some suffering to get there or some sacrifice to get there. Suffering and sacrifice and hard work is an indication of progress towards our dreams. The lack of sacrifice, the lack of suffering in our lives, its removal, its non-existence also equates to a non-existence of a great life, a non-existence of a dream happening. When we're suffering and sacrificing, we wonder whether it's worth it. We wonder whether we're supposed to. We wonder whether sacrifice or setbacks or suffering is a sign it's not our real dream. See, at the gym, you never think, oh, I'm going through some pain and discomfort. This must be a sign I shouldn't be at the gym. You never think that. In fact, the indication of the pain and sacrifice and sweat, don't you feel better at the gym? You're like, wow, I really sacrificed today. I really suffered. So in that area, we all know to the extent we suffer and sacrifice is to the extent we grow.
Don't get better automatically. You only get better because you intentionally make a decision to get better. You have to go from being a person of good intentions to a person of good actions.
Life doesn't happen to you. We all think that life happens to me, right? In fact, the only difference between most of you and me, the only difference between me and you is I wanted it more. I wanted it more. Opportunities will come to you every day. It's either for you, you can remain scared of the opportunities, or you can embrace them and take them.
You need to push yourself past good. Good is not enough. What are you going to do that's going to be different, you understand? What is different within you? There is something deeply different about you. Because a lot of the times, our biggest obstacle is ourselves. You are in your own way. And it just takes a perspective shift to implement into our day, and the next thing you know, we're transforming.
I wish more people were more gentle with themselves and more forgiving. You don't have a lot of people in life that are gonna come and fight for you. It bothers me to my core when I see people be negative on themselves, be hard on themselves, not be a fan of themselves. If you're not a fan of yourself, nobody's going to be a fan of you. If you don't fight for yourself, nobody's going to fight for you. It really bothers me, the victim mentality that people have. And if you can escape that victim mentality, you can tap into the opposite side, which is hope.
When you start stacking those wins, with each win comes a higher price. You have to pay a little bit more. Some days you pay a little less. Some days you pay a little bit more. When winning is looking at you and it's saying, this is what I need you to focus in on, can you go all in on that, or are you busy still kind of looking out of the corner of your eye? You can't do anything to the fullest extent, to its best capabilities, if you're already thinking about something else, or you're thinking about next.
If you wanted it bad enough, you'd make it happen. Just shows your true desires. Otherwise, something more important will always come up. The truth is, if it's on your mind, you're probably as ready as you'll ever be. If you don't make time for your dreams, you'll be forced to make time for your regrets.
Well, fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear.
Don't stop, don't dwell on the past, because a lot of times when we dwell on mistakes, when we dwell on certain decisions we've made that already happened, it keeps us there, it keeps us stuck there. Now we're taken away from this moment that we have right now, this moment that we have to bring intention to this moment, to bring gratitude to this moment, to focus on taking the next right step instead of looking backwards and staying stuck in a place that we don't have anymore.
Fast forward 20 years. Are you going to look back at your time and think, I probably should have done anything? If you know that in a year, you think you're going to say, okay, I probably should have been doing this, or man, I probably shouldn't have been doing this so much. That is not a good feeling to have.
In the shadows of our grief, hearts heavy with loss and minds burdened by the weight of the world, we confront the stark reality of our existence. Pain, sorrow, and despair are unavoidable companions on this journey called life. These emotions, though often unwelcome, are intrinsic to our human experience. They remind us of the depth of our love, the significance of our connections, and the fragility of our existence. But even in our darkest hours, there is a flicker of light, a reminder that we are not alone. Each tear shed, each sigh of anguish, is a testament to our shared humanity. We are bound together by our struggles, and it is in our collective suffering that we find the strength to endure. This shared journey, while fraught with challenges, also offers us the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to find deeper meaning in our lives. Life is fragile, and its beauty is often fleeting. We are reminded of this when we lose those we love, when our dreams are shattered, and when we face the harshest trials. It is easy to feel overwhelmed, to succumb to the crushing weight of hopelessness. Yet it is precisely in these moments that we must remember the resilience of the human spirit. Our capacity to adapt, to persevere, and to find hope even in the bleakest of times is what defines us as human beings. We may stumble and we may fall, but we rise again. We carry the memories of those we have lost within us, and their spirit fuels our determination to press on. Their dreams become our dreams, their hopes our hopes. We honor them by living fully, even as we carry the ache of their absence. It is through this living, through our actions and our choices, that we keep their legacy alive. We must remember that every step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to their enduring influence on our lives. The road ahead may be long and arduous, and there will be times when we feel we cannot go on. But let us find solace in the quiet strength that resides within us. Let us draw courage from the love and support of those around us. In our grief, we discover the depths of our compassion, the breadth of our empathy, and the power of our unity. Together we can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle, and find a way to move forward. As we navigate this difficult path, let us hold on to the belief that despite the sorrow, there is still beauty to be found. In the laughter of a child, the warmth of a friend's embrace, and the gentle touch of a sunrise, we find glimpses of the hope that sustains us. These moments, though fleeting, remind us that life is still worth living, that there is still joy to be experienced, and that we are capable of finding happiness even in the midst of our pain. Life is a mosaic of joy and sorrow, each piece integral to the whole. Though we may be consumed by sadness, let us not lose sight of the moments that bring us light. Let us remember that even in the darkest night, the stars still shine. These stars, symbols of hope and guidance, remind us that there is always a way forward, always a path to follow, even when it seems hidden by the shadows of our grief. So let us move forward with a quiet determination, honoring our pain while embracing the possibility of healing. Let us live not just for ourselves, but for those who can no longer do so. In our shared journey, we will find strength, we will find purpose, and we will find a way to carry on. Each day is an opportunity to honor their memory, to live in a way that reflects their values and their dreams, and to make a positive impact on the world around us. In our pursuit of healing, let us also be kind to ourselves. Grief is not a linear process. It ebbs and flows, and it takes time. Allow yourself to feel, to mourn, and to heal at your own pace. Surround yourself with those who understand, who support you, and who can offer you comfort. Remember that it is okay to seek help, to lean on others, and to find solace in community. As we continue this journey together, let us remember that we are not defined by our losses, but by how we choose to respond to them. We have the power to transform our pain into something meaningful, to use our experiences to help others, and to create a legacy of resilience and hope. In this way, we honor the past, embrace the present, and look forward to a future filled with possibility.
If you leave things the way they are now, you'll regret it for the rest of your life.
You just gotta truly believe in yourself. It's hard, you know, there's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs, there's a lot of people telling you that it's not gonna happen, there's a lot of people telling you that it is gonna happen when they have no reason to. It's really all about how much trust you have in yourself. You gotta have a vision, you gotta have something you wanna do with this, and you gotta be willing to work for it.
Most people will doubt you at the beginning, including yourself, but that will all change if you keep putting in the work. Yes, you'll make mistakes, but there's no substitute for effort. That's something that nobody can take away from you. It's hard to count somebody out that never quits, and that's you. They don't see it yet, and you might not either, but soon you will. Stick with it until you figure it out.
Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to come save you. There'll be people that will help you. There'll be people in your path that give you counsel, give you advice, but there's nobody that's going to come save you. The brilliance of life is you're going to have to figure it out on your own. You're going to have to learn the hard lessons. You're going to have your heart broken. You're going to have to lose money. You're going to have the sickness and the illness. You're going to have these experiences to really callous yourself in life and learn how to get done on your own, because there's nobody that's going to come save you.
Whatever it is that you were born to do in greatness, you can still get there, even if you end up put on pause, if your dreams look like they're interrupted, if the journey to excellence looks like it got cut off, there will always be a secondary path. And when the path opens up, you have to be willing to open up yourself to accepting it.
You know what you want for your future, but you kind of want it. It means you want it, but only if it's not too difficult or if it's not an inconvenience. So the question is not, do you want it? The question is, how bad do you want it?
We got to quit looking for the reasons we can't, and we got to start looking for the reasons we can. Anybody can make anything work, bro. It's just, what are you willing to do? And the answer needs to be fucking anything, because it's that hard. You have to be willing to do whatever the takes to get what it is you're trying to create. And that means anything.
I'll get to this point and then I'll be happy. I'll get to this point and then I'll do this. There's always like that thinking of the future as a point of rest or a point of achievement. Don't let life slip you by because you're so focused on the future. But don't obsess your whole life about that, because you'll miss out on what's happening right in front of you. Because at the end of the day, life is incredibly short. This is it. You only get this one life and it's going by pretty fast. You don't want to mess around. There should be a sense of urgency, I think, in your life. That's how I try to live my life, with a sense of urgency that every day is kind of precious and matters, and you're not going to get a second chance at this.
Stop taking things so seriously. No one is getting out of this game alive, literally. In 3 generations, no one will even remember your name. And if that doesn't give you liberation to just drop your f***ing problems and find some joy, I don't know what will. Life is inherently ridiculous and guaranteed to end sooner or later, so you might as well enjoy the ride.
Master consistency. Become loyal to your path. Continue to remain focused on your destination and refuse to be distracted. Isolate your mind. Surround yourself with things that align with your vision and your vision only. Utilize every minute of your day to cover more ground, bringing you closer to success. You may be asking how to achieve this mindset, but my question to you is, why would you choose otherwise? Why would you choose to be inconsistent?
And I came here to tell every one of you, you are excellent. You are all superheroes. I don't care how many mistakes you've made, how many times you've messed up. I don't care how close you've been to bankruptcy. I don't care how many times you failed. I don't care what the health had looked like. Every one of you in this room is a superhero who is headed in a journey in excellence. And I defy anybody to tell you that you cannot be something.
Challenging somebody today. You gifted, you talented, you got it going on, but you do not demand of yourself more than your boss demands of you. Your boss give you a check and you Johnny on the spot. Your boss give you a check, you right there on time. But when you have to be on time for yourself, when you have to do something for yourself, you fall short. I'm just telling you, if you don't do more for you, at least do what you was willing to do for them. I'm telling you, if you can't do it for yourself, find that same tenacity that you found to give them what they asked for, to give you what you asked for. You owe you. Don't nobody else owe you.
You may not have had the year you wanted so far, but maybe you're having the year that you need. Grow, learn to be alone, and find peace with your darkest thoughts. Maybe this year, although not what you wanted, is exactly what you needed to prepare you for better things to come. Remember, it's all part of the journey, so just stay the course.
You do not believe that you will be rewarded for your struggles, for the discomfort that you tolerate in efforts to stay loyal to your path. But you must know that if you try your hardest at anything, you will find success. You cannot lose.
If you really want to be transformed, you have to live an intentional life. Most people don't lead their life, they accept their life. And when you accept your life, you are living on things that are not worthy of your time and effort and energy. To go uphill, you have to be intentional. Nobody ever went uphill by accident. You've never read a book on accidental achievements. You have to be intentional with what you do and who you are.